The Joel Fernandez Show is a talk show channeled spontaneously from source to edify and help raise the vibrations of truthers, starseeds, Christic alchemists, and others who have seen through this illusionary matrix into messianic consciousness by discussing hidden knowledge, higher dimensions, and manifesting so that we can shine our light for everyone to see and co-create the earth that we know we actually deserve to live in. Don't! I gotta go! I'm working on the show! This is kind of bouncy, but we'll make it work. You know, with filming, you can just turn on your camera and film whatever you're doing, but editing, that's what takes so much time, so. I don't know. You know what? It's also the smoke. Like, Calgary's been really smoky the last few days, and that usually just kind of puts me out of it. Dealing with new things as you shed the old things. You're not dealing with old things anymore. Now you're dealing in a whole different ball game. It's good stuff. All right, race time. First gear driving school, man. No wonder they're driving so slow. Stuck in first gear, baby. We don't need to race today. Like, honestly, I like racing at the lights, but then, like, just chilling after that and then seeing them, like, catch up and get riled up, and then you're just like, you already lost, buddy. You already lost. Welcome, everybody, to the Joel Fernandez Show. I'm your host, Joel Fernandez, and today we're making some leek soup. Got this beautiful bad boy right here, and we're just chopping it up and putting that right in the pot. And we're gonna be having that later, and I'm just gonna set this up right here like that, because as I'm chopping this stuff up, I'm just gonna have a few words with you guys, and then we're gonna get right into the food. You can actually find this video on my other channel. Actually, one of the videos I made for my Veganuary special, which was just like 30 days non-stop vegan recipes, was leek soup, but it wasn't as good as this stuff. That was just like plain leek soup. This has got lentils and carrots, and I just spiced it up. And it's simple too. All you need is leeks, carrots, and the lentils. You can add whatever spices you like. I had cumin and turmeric with a bit of garlic, and that's pretty much all I put in there. But the one thing about leeks is they're really dirty. I mean, there's dirt that gets in between in there, and you literally gotta rinse every single leaf, but that's just the nature of the beast, you know? But what can I say about this summer? Like, things have been literally accelerating, like, beyond belief. I don't know how I'm gonna set up the camera to get me a shot of actually chopping these leaves, but let's try it out anyway. Oh, actually that works, right? That works. Yeah, just like that, and then we chop away. Oh, doing this. Just like that, and the one thing I love about not having to do this for a job is that I can actually wear jewelry as I'm cooking. Yeah, this is actually some chrysoprase, and I've even got a necklace of it on too. It's a nice earth stone, kind of calming. But honestly, my vibe has been raised so high by now that, you know what? I don't even get much effect from the crystals as I used to. They still have their effect, but like my vibe is just so strong. I can influence my vibe without the crystals, in other words. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, chrysoprase. Pretty cool stone. Stay back. Stay back. You gotta have a bit of fun, right? You gotta have a bit of fun. And I love cooking. That's the other thing. I just love cooking, and especially the vegan recipes. It literally changed my life. It literally changed my life. So, yeah, woke me up to a whole lot. Of course, it all really started after I first tried cannabis for the first time, because before that, I was just like, you know, I thought I knew it all. Mind you, I was raised by one of these religious institutions that just told us, you know, we know it all and this is the way it is. I would condescend weed smokers. Like, obviously it does demotivate you, but it does stimulate your minds. But of course, back then in my mind, it was lumped in the same category as heroin and crack and all that stuff, right? So I did have my own wake-up call, and you know what? I'm done chopping these, so I'm gonna put that on the pressure cooker. We got the Instant Pot. And I'm just gonna clean this place up. Oh, we got our selfie stick. Cleanup's important, guys. Cleanup's important. Never cook without cleaning up, because it's just nasty. I'm gonna need my selfie stick. Bam. So we've got our, oh, come on. Autofocus off. Autofocus off. There we go. Or on. I don't know. Autofocus lock off. There we go. So we got our Instant Pot here. We're just gonna turn that on. And we got it for 444 minutes. So while that's cooking, I actually got these strawberries and blueberries. Picked that up at the store earlier today, and I'm just going to be bagging those into little individual baggies and be using that for my smoothies because it's summertime. And it's smoothie time, and it's just amazing weather here in Calgary, no matter what. We had some smoke for a while, but you know what? That happens every year, and I'm a bit suspicious, but let's not go down that rabbit hole of conspiracy. It's a conspiracy is what it is, boys. Conspiracies, there's no point going down that rabbit hole now, is there? Alright, so I got my baggies, and you guys can't see my face, can you? I don't really know if this is a good idea. How am I gonna... Yeah, but then I can't really see what I'm cutting here. Just have to get my mug because I'm gonna be having some tea. You know what? I would honestly snack on these guys, but you know what? I gotta freeze them and use them for my smoothie. I've already had a couple though, and they're pretty good. Okay, better camera angle. And strawberries, let's get to work, shall we? You know what, I'm just gonna cut these in half and the larger ones in threes. We don't want too many strawberry casualties, right? Every strawberry matters. So yeah, you know, just get your fingernail in there. Mama had a baby and its head fall off. You know, things have been pretty good this summer. I plan on taking a bit of a vacay as well. I don't know if this video is going to get out before that because, man, I'm still backed up. You know, I thought I'd caught up with my videos, but it's just like, yeah, I've caught up with filming, but just editing. The time necessary for editing just sets me back quite a bit. So, unfortunately, That's what's holding these videos back at the moment. That's why the reasoning sessions, they're up every day. Because it doesn't take much to edit them. Relatively, of course. It does take, like, each reasoning sesh, if they're decently long, you know what? It easily takes like an hour and a half sometimes to edit it. Filming it, yeah, it takes like 20 minutes. But editing them, yeah, that's where the time is at. So, right now I just got to get more organized. The thing is that I would be able to edit a lot of these videos pretty easily. But because I've got other projects going on, it's just, you know, not very feasible. But I am sharing a lot of those projects, at least the ones that I can share on these shows. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. Some painting, some music. Even whenever I'm learning new piano pieces, sometimes I'll share some of those. I want to make these shows more interesting, you know, otherwise it's just me talking high vibe, and although that's good enough, honestly, but I just, you know, if you're high vibe, you got to manifest high vibe things, you know, not just high vibe concepts in your head. That's all well and good too, though. White strawberries, you know what? No discrimination. No discrimination. Like I said, every strawberry matters. You know, it might look stagnant, but if you're able to read between the lines, actually, you're going to see that, you know, the media and some of these politicians are already scrambling. You know what? I didn't even have any tea yet, but you know what? I'm gonna snag one of these strawberries. Real good. I want to actually share the soup and have a mukbang doing that, but you know what? I don't even know if there's going to be enough time during the day because I'm still working on this huge poster that I'm doing for a client, and that one, man, that's taken a lot of my time up, but I'm getting paid for it, so you know, can't complain there. I don't even know why I'm bothering cutting these strawberries, but you know, it's just the way Mama did it, so I'm cutting them. I think I'm gonna get 4 bags of this. Yeah, each bag just like that. And I use maybe like 1 bag for 3 smoothies. I also got blueberries, and I got these acai, pineapple and blueberries. So I don't even use the blueberries all the time. That's just a backup. I'm always out and about doing things, and that's the thing, like, you know, this whole agenda has been perpetrated on us through fear to get us to be afraid to leave our houses. And if we're not afraid to leave our houses, we're afraid, you know, of getting sick. I don't need to mention what of. But yeah, and if you're not afraid of getting sick, then you're afraid of what other people think of you, you know, when you don't wear the muzzle. I think that's where it starts. Alberta has opened up for the summer at least. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about whether it's, you know, politically inspired, whether it's a ploy to say, oh, we shouldn't have opened up in the first place. Look at what's happened now that the summer and everybody's super spreading and all this stuff. But you know what I think, and this is my honest opinion, that when our premier of Alberta said we were opening up for the summer, immediately, City Council, Calgary, the largest city in Alberta, it's not the capital, but it's the largest city, where a lot of the oil and gas businesses, their initial response was, no, we're not opening up. We're going to keep the mandates going, you know, blah, 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 control, fear. And you know what? Immediately that weekend, we saw a meeting here in Calgary. The premier came down to Calgary and met with our mayor, but our prime minister was also in attendance in that meeting. Right after that meeting, city council votes in favor of repealing the mandate. Before that, they were all adamant on pushing it. So, you know, I really don't know what's going on, but I have faith in the white hats on the physical level, but sources already told me that this thing is blowing wide open and just exposing what these rats have been doing for generations. So I'm not afraid, but I mean, just having this YouTube channel and everything that's unfolded, like it started with the vegan channel, and then I just started sharing inspirational messages, just random messages on, like, originally it was manifesting, and while I'm still talking about manifesting now, it's just like I understand the process a whole lot better, and in context with the deeper understanding of, you know, the ancient scriptures. It's what they were writing about all along. You know, of course, that's not all they were writing about, but, oh, our Instant Pot is ready, but that is a large portion of what is conveyed, and a lot of people think it's symbolic, or a lot of people think it's metaphorical. You know, maybe you can take it for metaphors for your own life, but man, these things are transcendent, and if you take them literally, they actually point to the world of manifesting with source, you know, outside of your own physical ego. So now the strawberries are cut. Don't need to cut the blueberries, but I do need to strain them. Oh, look at that. We got them in a colander, so that works. Let's have some of these too. Ah, casualty. These are good blueberries though. Okay. That one obviously didn't want to join the party. And just freeze those. So we got 4 bags of strawberries, and let's find out how many bags of blueberries we got. You know what? I haven't even had my tea yet, but I don't care because these blueberries are pretty good. I say weird things, guys. Sometimes my vocabulary, like, I've been speaking English all my life, but I still say the wrong things. The other day I was editing one of the reasoning sessions, and I said, like, that's a subject for a whole other issue when I meant to say episode. But you guys understand me, right? You guys are smart. Guys, I can attest that when you have a car that can do that, sometimes that's really fun. I really enjoy just revving the engine. I don't enjoy racing as much as I thought I did, because usually when you race somebody on the road, you just get really stressed, and then you're like, you know, that's not the vibe that I really, hold on, I gotta think of the right word. Got more bags, but I still haven't got the right word for that. It's not the vibe that I really encourage in myself. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. I like the thrill of the race, but not with other people. Because usually with other people, you just get stressed out and then you get pissed off. Even if you win, it's just like an egotistic kind of paradigm. And you know what? I'm shedding that. I'm shedding that for the community with source. Communion with source. Okay. Okay, we got 3 bags of blueberries and 1 wet bag. We still got half an hour, give or take, for our dinner to get ready. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prepare the base for this soup. Like I said, I just pressure cooked some leeks, carrots, and the lentils. And then for the base, what I do is I just heat up some water and put some cumin in, some turmeric, and chop up some spinach, and that's the base, man. Then once it's ready, I combine it all, put in some salt, mince some garlic, and stir in a tablespoon of flax seeds, because you need those omegas, right? As a vegan. But really, that's as simple as it is. Like, these are really simple recipes. I make complex recipes too, by the way. Like vegan lasagna, vegan donair. If you don't know what those recipes are, you can check them all out on my other channel. But yeah, very simple recipes too, like popcorn are on there too. You don't have to be a genius to make popcorn, but then again, we all are. Everybody watching this channel is a genius.
I'm too intelligent for this man. I am the real deal, fool. Oh shit. A genius.
oh yeah.
And that's not me sucking up to you. It's just the truth, you know? You just got the mind to fathom these deeper aspects of what's going on. So yeah, I am going on a vacay pretty soon here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit and upload this video before that. But yeah, I'm going to really reassess a lot of these videos and just put the system together where, you know, the reasoning sessions are much more where I'm able at least to get much more into depth into all that subject matter. And with the Joel Fernandez show, like, I've got a lot to share, and I do want to share some of my projects too. Change it up a bit. Keep it high vibe though. Sometimes talk about these deeper aspects. Like, I know the show completely started with me talking about, like Illuminati conspiracies, and actually I have that playing card game. That was pretty cool. Just looking at some of the subjects in those, and just seeing what happened in the world over the last, year or two? Actually, since the 2016 U.S. federal election. But, that's a subject for another episode. Or maybe not. Just keep your own vibe high. Like, whatever's going on in the world right now is just, an exposure. And we mustn't get caught up in it and saying, like, oh, what are we going to do in this situation, or now what? It's easy to get caught in that mindset, but we just got to keep seeing the end from the beginning. I'm talking about all kinds of things, am I not? But yeah, we got to stay optimistic and just do our part, and, get out of the ego mindset, because a lot of times we think like, oh, if we do this, it's going to get better. And if we do this, like, what's the point of doing it? One thing that came to mind earlier today, actually, is like, you don't know, not only you don't know who's like on their last rope, but you don't know where they're going to be in the future to probably be someone to help you out. Like, one day, I was coming up 14th Street by Mount Royal, 17th Ave and 14th. If you know Calgary, that's actually kind of a posh area, and Source has literally opened me up to kind of being in these kind of neighborhoods now, which before I never would have even dreamed possible. But back to the subject. I was there, and I've seen this guy on the street just panhandling with his baseball cap. He's in like tattered clothes. Like, this guy stunk, right? But, you can't judge. And like, something inside me just convicted me. Give him money. And back then, this was before the lockdown, I was carrying cash with me. I had $50. And Source was like, give him the $50. I'm like, man, Source, that's a lot of money. And he doesn't look like he's going to spend it on anything righteous, if you know what I mean. But I followed that conviction and I handed it to him, And as soon as I did, like, he just burped in my face. Like, he couldn't even focus clearly on me. Like, this guy was so messed up. But you know what? I was like, Source, I'm trusting you on this one, So I just did my thing after that, drove on. But like 2 weeks later, I was trying to get out of this parking lot, same area, turning onto 17th Ave from like one of the parking lots there. And traffic was crazy. And I just couldn't get out because it was so backed up and people were just constantly coming. This guy, this same guy was on the sidewalk. He saw me. And he went out and stood in front of the car that was coming down. And he blocked this car and he said, he let me out. He let me out. I don't know if he remembered me. But man, these things you sow and you reap. So trust your gut. Another time I was just walking up to Sev. And, well, if you don't know what Sev is, that's 7-Eleven. That's a convenience store chain we have here in Canada. But yeah, like, I was just getting out of my car, walking up to the door. I was going to buy some butane because I needed it to do my dabs. I don't really do that anymore, at least lately. But yeah, this guy was just sitting on the front porch of the 7-Eleven, and he had his panhandle, he had his sign, and I just walked up to him. I'm just like, I don't care what his sign says. I don't care what anything says. Source is guiding me to talk to this guy. So I went up to him. I was like, dude, what's your story? Literally just said that. He started spilling out. He's like, I lost my job. My girlfriend lost her job around the same time. We're just doing what we can to make ends meet. Still looking for jobs. Still doing this. So I talked to him for like, maybe 5-10 minutes. People coming around and saying, hey, man, you need a coffee? I'll buy you some food. He's like, no, I just want money, right? And right next to the 7-Eleven, there's a liquor store, right? So you never really know with these people. But I was just talking to him, and honestly, now that I think back, I don't really remember much of what he said. But at the end of that conversation, I'm like, okay, guy, I'm going to get going. I pulled out a 20 and I just handed it to him because that's what Source guided me to do. I wasn't even going to give him money, but Source guided me first step, just hear his story out. And just, you know what? You never know who just needs somebody to talk to. And people aren't choosing this kind of lifestyle for themselves. So we got to be the light in the world because we have that light in us. We have the mindset to actually raise society to a higher level. That's that. All right, but with that being said, I'm going to get to work on this base. Just heating some turmeric in a saucepan. And today I'm going to use the powdered turmeric. But man, if you get the real stuff, that stuff's pretty good. And I have a whole bunch of the real stuff too. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I will use some of that real stuff. Keep it real. All right, let's get right on that, shall we? You know what? I can't do the hand thing because this thing is stacked up against some plates. Let me try. Yeah, I got some turmeric. This is from Community Natural Foods. So yeah, these are the turmeric roots. They look like little worms. Little worm cocoons. But yeah, like this one's not so orange. But cut it, you can kind of see it is pretty orange. You don't want to get it all over the place because sometimes like your hand will turn orange. Like this one's okay, but you know what? I'm going to show you what your hand will look like if you handle this stuff. Let's do this again, shall we? Oh, look at that. So yeah, basically just smash it up and then you can chop it really fine. But yeah, you can see like there's like orange juice. Not orange juice, but orange juice on the blade there. And if you handle it with your fingers are going to turn pretty orange actually. This one's not too bad, but yeah, it will turn orange. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw that into a pot with some cumin on there. Just bring that to a low simmer for about 5 minutes. Cooking, filming, and trying to get a good shot with my camera, all with one hand. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna put that on, heat that up, and as that's heating up, I'm just gonna get the spinach chopped up. What do you guys think about me sharing these recipes? You like it? Leave me a comment below because honestly, I want to share what you guys like. You know, we are moving forward and all of these things are kind of integral to a high vibe kind of lifestyle. You know what? I just don't want to waste your guys' time either. So I got some fresh spinach, fresh organic spinach. And again, like you guys, you don't have to do everything organic, but you know what? Organic does taste way better. And if you can get organic, you know, go for it. But it's not necessary. If you're going to sacrifice because you can't get organic, that's not the way to do it. So yeah, I am going to chop a generous handful of this stuff. And then, you know, just steam that for like, not even like 5 minutes. Just a couple minutes is good till it reduces. Spinach reduces pretty quickly. And then, yeah, once the lentils and leeks and all that good stuff is ready, just mix it all up, add the garlic, salt, and flax, and we're ready to roll. I might just put some powdered turmeric in there as well, just for good measure, man. This stuff is also from Community Natural Foods. Actually, you know what? You can probably see a better shot on my recipe channel. It took a lot of practice to get that channel to where it is now with the way I narrate and the way I film. But you know what? That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Practice. Practice. The more you do, the more you learn, and the more it looks good. You know what? Even with this show, like I know I have a very silly demeanor, but you just make it look good. You just want to spice it up, right? Add a bit of life to the presentation. Add the spinach to the saucepan. And also, you know what I do? One of the really good things to add to grains is tomatoes. But to this leek soup, no. It's not something that you add tomatoes to. And that's something you learn with trial and error. Like I remember one time I made it with tomatoes and I'm like, nah. But it was still good. That tea kind of smells like Chinese restaurant. I don't know why. Chickpea water with cumin. It's not even tea technically. I guess it's cumin tea. I don't know. But yeah, it just smells like Chinese restaurant. It doesn't smell like human. It smells like Chinese restaurant. Yeah, I'm weird. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to stir this. But I need my stir stick and it's under all these dishes, so give me one moment. Ah! We're good. We're good. We're good. It's not even here. It's not even here. Where do I put it? Where did I put it? It was in the drawer all along, guys. Anyway, okay. Stir, 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 stir. And yeah, literally it's already done. I don't always have fresh spinach to do this with, but frozen spinach is good too, because if you leave spinach too long, it wilts and gets really nasty and you can't use it after that. It's just disgusting. You get one bad leaf in the batch and the whole thing just tastes disgusting after that. Nothing against frozen spinach, but honestly, me, if I had it my way, I'd be living in the tropics, eating fruit, only fruit all day long. But practically, where I live right now, you can't do that with commercially grown fruit. Half of it's picked raw anyway. Like today I bought some kiwis, I got some plums, I got some all this good stuff, but I know it's raw and I'm gonna have to wait till it ripens. And that kind of ripening off the vine is not the same as ripening on the vine. When it's on the tree, it ripens with enzymes and all this other alkaline balance. When it ripens off the tree, it's picked when it's raw, so it's acidic, and it's not even ripening, it's fermenting, so it's creating these alcohols, and that's what's ripening, making the fruit soft and sweet, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. If you reduce the ash, it's still going to be more acidic than you want it to be. But with my background, I learned a lot from Arnold Ehret, and honestly, when I was born, my parents were SDA, so I don't know if that played a part with it, but they didn't stay SDA for long, let me tell you that. My dad was asking questions way back then, and they just kicked him out of the Bible study. They're like, "Brother Tony, you're asking too many questions. Please don't come to our Bible study anymore." And that's the same thing I'm doing, man. I'm challenging the status quo of the wisdom of the world and the churches. And having a good time at it too, mind you. I'm not stressing because, honestly, this axe is laid to the root. It's an IKEA axe. Oh man, I miss IKEA. A little bit. Some aspects of it, you know. A full-time job's a full-time job, but it was a decent place to work. Good people. It was nice. It was fun. Fun days. But you know what? You keep moving forward. And wherever that takes you, man, you gotta let go of what's holding you back. Old and outdated baggage. But you know what? I still shop at IKEA. And the thing is that we were in the warehouse and we weren't even like in proximity with other employees. They're like, you still have to wear masks. And then I was like, what? And yeah, just the way they just totally spazzed that first day. They're like, you gotta stay social distance. You can't. And then they're like, get the work done. I'm like, I can't even get to the table because other employees are there. What do you want me to do? So yeah, that didn't last very long. But it was because I was getting in tune with Source, and I'm like, Source, I really want to keep working there because I got all my friends there. And you know what? That just fell through. But look at what it's opened up. Man, I am so grateful for where I am now. Can't look back. Okay, I'm going to chop some salad, and I'm going to get a salad in me before the soup is done. Let us eat some lettuce. And I got my nice salad bowl here too. But you know what? I remember way back in the day, when I was in junior high, we had a slave auction in our class, which, I'm not so much down with that term. But my services back then was to cook a 5-course roast beef dinner. That's back when I was like, there's no way I'm going veg, and I didn't even know what that was, to be honest. But yeah, I was a chef even then. Unwashed lettuce. Sometimes you get washed lettuce. This one isn't, though. So yeah, I don't remember exactly what the 5 courses were. I know there was a soup, a salad. The main course was like roast beef. I remember what I did. I put it in a casserole, and I covered it in olive oil, and I baked it with a couple cloves of garlic. That's it. But yeah, main course, appetizer, dessert. I assume the salad was easy because like it's basically the same salads I'm making now. Chop some lettuce, cucumber, pepper, onion. I might have made Greek salad. Honestly, I don't remember. But you know what, guys? I'm not proud of it, but you gotta acknowledge where you come from in order to move forward. And yeah, appetizers. I remember I used to love making those stuffed mushrooms. I do believe that I have the recipe for stuffed mushrooms on my vegan channel. Just veganized it. Check it out right there. By the time I eat this salad, the soup's gonna be ready. So, but yeah, you could literally like make a 5-course meal from just a really easy one too, from just the recipes on my other channel. Because like you had the Greek salad, you get some lentil soup, man, you can make some lasagna or, you know, whatever, main course, anything on there. Just have fun. And desserts, that's what it was. There was a dessert as well. Either apple strudel or cinnamon rolls back then. I have the cinnamon rolls, vegan cinnamon rolls on my other channel as well. But I love that black bean pudding. Food is good. It's spelled the same, but it should rhyme. You know what? There was a restaurant here in Calgary that used to be in the Deerfoot Mall. It was called Foodie Goodie. It was a Chinese buffet. And that was back when it actually was good. And of course I was eating all that stuff anyway. Now it's like I just, you know, see that stuff and it's like, unclean. Let's not talk about the dragon today. That's another rabbit hole I don't necessarily want to go down. But you know what's really weird is seeing people of Asian descent and they're the ones wearing the muzzle. I'm like, don't you know what the CCP is up to? And the other side of that coin is they probably do know what the CCP is up to, and they're doing it for their lives are at stake. That's even an uglier scenario. Did you ever see a pepper like this? Half of this guy, and I'm going to use the other half of this. I wonder if I can fit this together. It won't really matter because I'm chopping it up anyway. Genetic splicing. Talking about what the dragon's up to. We're not going down that rabbit hole in this episode, guys. This episode is going to be entirely, or mostly entirely, on food. I didn't even plan this, actually. I thought I would be talking about other things. I knew I was going to be cooking on here, but... I'm going to make some hummus. These pods are so small. The problem is, when they're small like this, they're still kind of raw, and it's just a pain to separate the skins from these guys. When they're ripe and they're nice and big and juicy, imagine that, juicy garlic, hey? It's very easy to depod them, but when they're like this, it's a whole other issue. So I'm making salad and I'm going to be sprinkling it, or I'm going to be having it with hummus. I'm going to regroup with you guys when I get... Well, the soup's ready. I just got to wait for it to cool down now. I just got to wait for the pressure to release. Crush the garlic pods. Make a mash. Let's make some hummus, guys. Add the cumin and the garlic and a bit of salt, and you know what, that's all I'm going to add this time. Oh, alright, let's have some of this salad, shall we? It's looking pretty good. I put the hummus in a different bowl, just sprinkled that with some hemp seeds, and yeah, let's dig right into that, shall we? I'm going to dig into this first. Got my tea. Yeah, I swear that smells like Chinese restaurant. You know, it'd be really nice with this would be some red onions. And actually I got some. Now I started eating. I don't want to get up and put that on. All my red onions are downstairs. I don't want to come up. Just to cut one. And then interrupt the broadcast. Let me check if I have one in the pantry though. You know what? After getting up, I just went downstairs and got one. So yeah, a bit of red onion. Just like that. If we need more, we got that. That's what I should do. I should take some hummus, top it off with some salad, and then I got a full bite. Rather than going back and forth and making a mess here. There I go again. For those of you guys that don't know, the song that I played at the beginning of this episode actually comes from an old British sitcom where John Cleese owns like this dysfunctional motel / hotel. And mind you, that's not the only thing dysfunctional about it. Like, his marriage is dysfunctional, his relationship with his staff and his clientele are all dysfunctional. But that's what makes it a comedy, right?
What have you done with my dining room door? Where is it?
I don't know.
Why don't you know? I left you in charge.
Well, I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Well, it's not my fault.
You fell asleep, but it's not your fault.
He forgot to wake me.
Who forgot to wake you?
It is my fault.
Manuel! I knew it, Manuel!
Don't blame him.
Why not?
It's not really his fault.
Well, whose fault is it then, you clothy-eared bint, Dennis Comptons?
Well, you hired O'Reilly, didn't you? I mean, we all warned you. Who else would do something like this?
I beg your pardon?
You hired O'Reilly.
Oh, I see. It's my fault, is it? Oh, of course. There I was thinking it was your fault because you've been left in charge, or Manuel's fault for not waking you, and all the time it was my fault. Oh, it's so obvious now. I've seen the light. Well, I must be punished then, mustn't I? You're a naughty boy, Faulty. Don't do it. What am I going to do? She's going to be back at lunchtime.
Now, wait.
Look, I'm a dead man. Do you realize?
Easy.
You're dead too. We're all dead.
Don't panic.
What else is there to do?
We will call O'Reilly. He made this mess. He can come in and clear it up. Oh, just pull yourself together. Come on.
Again! Harder! Right, I'll call O'Reilly. What is this? I mean, what is this doing? What is going on here?
Your wife ordered it. Call O'Reilly.
That golfing puffer! What is yours?
Call O'Reilly.
What?
Shall I call him?
No, I'll do it. I'll call him. You go and see if the roof's still on. What are you doing?
Stay there.
You can't do that now.
Hold it.
You don't see if they've started breakfast now.
I grew up watching that comedy. It's pretty funny. There's only 12 episodes, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Faulty Towers. And that's his name in the show. His last name is Faulty. I think it's Basil Faulty. That's what it is. Yeah. But it inspired me as a child. And honestly, like, I saw that hotel and I saw it and I'm like, you know what? I want to just draw the floor plan of this hotel. And from there, like, I actually learned architecture by myself just by doing that. But that stuck with me, and with that hotel, I kept on changing it and drawing it over and over again and adding things to it. It got pretty ridiculous at one time. But yeah, that was the basis of like the drawings that escalated into the art community that I'm now inspired to create. Basically just started as random architectural drawings that me as like a 10-year-old did. And then I met another guy in school, Steve, we got together and we just drew like our mansions with like golf courses and swimming pools and tennis courts and army bunkers and all this stuff. You know, we're just dreamers basically. But that all stuck with me, and that was the foundation of this art community. Like, I talk about this art community in some other episodes, and right now there's still a lot I can't really disclose, but it's basically when people are functioning at their highest level of potential, like their talents, right? What's your talent? Most of the time it's something artistic. It doesn't have to be painting or sculpting. It can literally be, you know, anything. Gardening, cooking, but it still takes some kind of artistic form. Mind you, you could be like a mathematician, right? Even like when you're acting on that from your own heart direction, like that is artistic. That's who you are as an artist, a mathematician. Either that or you could pull a Lewis Carroll and just write a novel like Alice in Wonderland. Because he was a mathematician by profession. But he's not remembered for that. He's remembered for what he created from that space. And there's a lot of people criticizing him, saying he had unnatural desires for his niece. But you know what? Whether he did or not, that's not in the book. And the book is literally him getting in line with Source, what Source wanted him to say, and saying it in a way that Source inspired him to say, I believe. There's a lot of hidden gems in that book. If I had time, I would go over stuff like that for the show. Go over stuff like the hidden meanings of Alice in Wonderland, the hidden meanings in movies like The Matrix and The Truman Show and Bruce Almighty. Many of these movies, you know, I could just get going on, but maybe in the future that will happen. Because honestly, like, I don't believe I've been giving these inspirations for nothing. And now that I'm acting on my inspiration, it's just like, you know, these things have to come to the surface eventually. And even the reasoning sessions, like, I'm putting it practically, right? There's so much symbolism that I could uncover in those as well. But for the symbolism, you got to get into it slowly and piece by piece, because if you pull the veil back too quickly, a lot of it will just go over people's heads. And, you know, I can't have that. We got to learn properly, you know, rightly divide the word. And we can really come to the deeper understanding of it. Because it's a book of life. It's a book of life. And, you know, even other books out there. But that's not what Source has revealed to me. So I just follow Source and I share that with y'all. But it's a book of life. It's not there to cause discord. But honestly, there's no other books out there that have more blood on it. That's what happens when you expose the darkness. The darkness just lashes out. It's not the book that's doing it. It's the darkness that the book exposed. You know, we mustn't confuse one for the other. And the best place for the kingdom of darkness to hide is in the churches. And they've been doing a pretty good job at it. You know, and that's why people have become discontent with, you know, what religion has been peddling all this time. But, like, as we pursue this light, the light is exposing the darkness in the world in our current time. You know, as we just do the inner work on ourselves, the world is manifesting these things on the outside. And it's pretty cool watching that happen. But, the first place that light is shining in is in these religious institutions. And sad to say, we're going to see a lot of people that the churches have looked up to just exposed for who they've been. Wolves in sheep's clothing. You know, they've been sitting on this gold mine of truth. And that's one of the ways that the kingdom of darkness uses to deter people is by getting these people in the public spaces where they're the spokespeople for this religion, but really they're just peddling, the darkness. They're using these texts to hide the real meaning of the text, while at the same time peddling a dark version of the text. Because, even Satan quoted the scriptures when he tempted Jesus. Like, people don't realize the magnitude of what that means. But yeah, it's so easy to take some of this stuff out of context and, just go down a totally different path with it. But anyway, the cure is for us to individually get in tune with Source. Individually. Don't worry about any of these organizations. Don't worry about anything they've done or said. Just ask Source yourself. Just say, Source, you reveal to me what's going on. What do you want from me? Open the door and then just leave it open, right? Whatever door is open after you've made that sincere request, just leave it open. Things will unfold like you wouldn't even believe. Like, my life is a living testament to that. Since the lockdown, like, I couldn't even imagine myself a year ago doing what I am now, with the doors opening up now. Like, literally so many doors in the last couple weeks. Like, even before that, like, a whole bunch of stuff was happening, but in the last couple weeks, man, like, I can't say too much about that right now because a lot of that is still in the early stages of development. But, even with my art, the music, and these shows, man, I never planned on doing these shows. Like, my Joel's Bowl channel, that was good enough to begin with. Even that was like a rocket taking off, I just opened it January 1st and boom, 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 boom. 30 recipes, 30 days. And I ate all that food myself. It was amazing. I think the soup's almost ready, so I'm making good time. As soon as I'm done this, the soup should be ready to go. I haven't really talked about my hair in this show, have I? Thing is, the reason why I have long hair, it's actually biblical, believe it or not. And it goes in line with the Nazarite vow of Samuel. Because Samuel's mother Hannah couldn't conceive, and she prayed to Yahweh and said, you know what, allow me to have a son. Yahweh gave her a son, and she dedicated that firstborn son to the service of Yahweh. That son was Samuel, or Shemuel in Hebrew, but his signifier was that he was the one that anointed both Shaul, the first king of Israel, and David, or David Hamelech. And his signifier was that no razor would ever come to his head. And my parents literally dedicated me before I was born. And yeah, I've just been like walking with Source all along. And especially the last few years, especially since my vegan awakening and with the cannabis and all that stuff that really woke me up. You know what? That's what this represents. It's just like I'm tuning in. Of course, like long hair does help in the physical, but this goes more than just like a physical antenna. This is like my contract with Source. This is my own thing, I'm not saying everybody has to do it, but I know I've never said that on this show, and that's what my hair is all about. A lot of people might think like, oh, biblical, and that's Samson. And yeah, Samson did have long hair, but his vow was a bit different, and he was to judge Israel. This was before Shmuel's time. And the other part of his vows was that he didn't have any like grapes, any fermented liquors. And when I was younger, man, I had a lot of fermented liquors. My past is like literally, it's like I came out of night to day with my awakening. Of course, my parents didn't condone that kind of lifestyle back then. But we all have our rebellious years anyway. That's when we learn for ourselves. But experience is the best teacher, right? And time heals all wounds. Or so they say. Honestly, time doesn't heal all wounds unless you get in tune with Source. Source is the real healer. Could there be people that carry pain for years and years and years, go to their grave holding on to grudges, right? Against people that have already died. So, Source will heal your hurts, though. If you actually come to Source with that request. You won't be able to do it if you're just trying to do it on your own. It's like digging up old experiences to get through them. Just brings back all that trauma. Source's ways is different than our ways. And yes, Source can literally deliver you in a heartbeat. That's what happened with me this spring when I had my near-death experience. I was holding on to a lot of stuff from my past and didn't realize it. A lot of stuff was done to me under the table in the energetic realm, dealing with like spiritism, different hexes and other things that were exposed in that experience. And you know what? I just came against it with forgiveness. And all of that was literally just vaporized. Just vaporized. And that's why I'm moving forward so fast. People are going to hurt you. People are going to try all kinds of stuff. But how are you going to hold on to it? Do you really want to hold on to it? Do you deserve to carry that baggage? So that's why my message has kind of shifted. Like, I'm still aware of the esoteric world, but how we're using it is the key. And, you know, we want to use it in tune with Source and not from our egos. A lot of the manifesting community is doing all this stuff for their own egos. And that's too bad. That's too bad, because that's a horizon that, you know, we don't want to meet the opposition on that playing field. Because it's just going to put us back under. If we're doing that manifesting on the dimension of Source, it's a completely different ballgame. The Kingdom of Darkness can't even stand up against that. Other people can't come at you with spells or whatever, with spells or incantations. It can't work on that level. But if you're doing sigil magic like I was in the beginning, other people will do sigil magic against you. What you put out is what you get back. Alright, this salad is done. And so is my soup. So now that this has disappeared, I'm going to get to work on making that soup disappear. Alright, let us get this soup in us. And yeah, you can check out that recipe on my vegan channel as well. You're probably wondering, like, how does this guy eat so much and stay so skinny? Well, the thing is, like, guys, I'm always eating. I'm always eating. And guess what? This is all carbs. This is all carbs. I'm not afraid of carbs because, honestly, it's not carbs, they're your enemy. You know, it's literally the fats that get in, and then carbs get a bad name because your sugar gets up, but it's because the fats in the cells, primarily fat from animal products, and that just causes a whole lot of other issues on top of that. But, yeah, man, I'm just eating all these carbs all day, all day, all day. And it's what's good. It's what's real good. This soup is hot. Normally I don't eat my soup like piping hot like this. But today, we're going to enjoy it really well. Honestly, because I like eating it fast. Either I eat it fast or I eat it while I'm working. And when I'm working, I eat it extremely slow because I get super caught up with my work. Okay, let's begin. Oh. Oh, man. That is good. That is good. That's good.
It's good.
That is good. Wow. 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 That is good. That is good. It's hot. It's hot. And I'm going to be sweating. It's a summer afternoon and it's all good. It's all good. Life's good. Life's good. You know, they thought they could do this with the lockdown, but honestly, I think it just woke people up. Like, I was at the store today, and I've seen people walking, you know, maybe like 10% not wearing the muzzle. But everybody who is, like, they know they're just doing it for show. And then they see me and, like, you know, I read energy, so I can tell. Like, some of them are literally scared, but a lot of the people are just doing it for show because everybody else is still doing it. I shouldn't say everybody else is still doing it because I sure as heck ain't. And even if it comes down to, like, them serving you, like, you just take the ticket and you take it to court, court has to throw it out because it's unconstitutional. Even here in Canada, in the States, like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know about other nations, but man, people don't know that the courts are throwing these things out. You know, they're just thinking that that's the way it is and they have to comply. Courts can't do anything with it. You know, the worst they usually do is just say, put it on or get out. Like, they're not going to arrest you or write you up for it. But if they do, just take the ticket. And when you go to court, court will throw it out. But man, this soup, so good. So good. Poster has to be done before I get to work on my other projects. This poster is for a client. They actually saw that poster I did in the last episode. Like, I can't share that work on this channel just because that's a client's job and he wants to keep it private. But man, I gotta get to work. Like, I can't do anything else until that project's done. So I hope to share some more personal projects in my next episode. I project that the poster will take about 2 or 3 days. That's if all goes well and there's no distractions. But I honestly hate sitting in front of my computer for like 8 hours a day. It's just not me anymore. Like when I was smoking cannabis all day, you know, I didn't mind it, but really, that's not who I am. I'm way more than that. Way more than that. And honestly, that just held me back. You know, it was a step forward, mind you. It was a step forward. But now that I look back at it, from where I am now, if I was to go back to that kind of lifestyle, I'm just way too active in community and, you know, linking up with people. That's really what it's all about. You know, all these art projects and the show and all of that, music, everything, even the food. It's like a byproduct. Because really what's really happening now is that I'm meeting people and doors are opening in different places and institutions. Oh, I shouldn't say institutions. Organizations, different groups where we actually go out and do stuff like even street ministry. So a lot has just been opening up. It's a really interesting time to be alive. It's a really interesting time to be alive. I might actually put those kind of videos in my channel because I do think I put a clip from Bob Larson once before, you know, because that kind of subject matter, people really got to know what's going on in the unseen realm. And when they realize like that oppression that's been haunting them all this time isn't even their own thoughts, man, people need to be set free. People need to be set free so that they can embody their fullest potential. That's the only way forward. That's the only way we're going to move forward. Soup's making me hot. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. And a lot of the places we open the doors to this oppression, like we don't even realize, it's hidden in our past. It's hidden with other people that, might have done things to us when we were really young. Even people doing stuff and, yeah, even curses and other things like that behind our backs. If we're not aware, we're going to accept that, not knowing that they've been sent against us and that we can resist that. And then the next thing we know, we're just spiraling down a road we never even thought we'd be going down, and we're like, wow, how far have I come? I can go on talking about portals and demonic entities and legal rights, all that stuff, and how they operate in our lives and claim like legal territory in our minds. That's why they don't go just by you trying to change your thoughts. Maybe I will. The reasoning sessions are all well and good, but there's much more that I'm involved with that I really want to share with you guys. So we'll see. Source has like a new horizon that's opening up for all of us now. Maybe I'm the messenger. Maybe you'll meet other people, find other videos and other things that will teach you these things. But the time is now. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't look to me for answers. I'm looking to Source for my answers, and so should you be. This soup is so good. Oh, who'd have thought, like, simple ingredients and make such an amazing meal? But you know what? That's what happens when you get in line with Source. Source will just be like, hey, throw this in the pot, do this. And you do that one day out of the blue, like you're changing up your recipes, and all of a sudden, bam, you have an amazing dish. And if I was going to make this any more special, like I'd probably throw in some bay leaves, maybe some caraway seeds and fennel as well. But honestly, like, sometimes simpler is better. A lot of the recipes on my other channel, like, the spice list goes way long. I'm pretty OCD when it comes to making a recipe just right. Especially when you put it up on YouTube, right? Because that's a one-time deal, and then that recipe lives on forever, right? So you got to make it right, Like that black bean pudding I made, I think there's at least a dozen spices. There's more than that. Probably like 20 or something. But even then, I forgot the nutmeg on that recipe, man. Can't believe I forgot nutmeg for that. See, that's what happens when you stress out with your ego. Even though you try and get everything just right, something will slip right under the radar and you won't even notice it till like a month later. You'll be like, oh my goodness, how did I forget nutmeg? So tap in with Source. Source knows all things and doesn't stress you out. Like, Source is not nagging you saying, do this, or else, something bad's gonna happen. That's not Source. And a lot of times you'll have a feeling like, I don't want to go here. I just don't feel right about it. But that's actually the dark side, putting thoughts in your mind saying, don't go there because we know what's going to happen when you link up with so-and-so. That's happened to me so many times in the last couple months that I'm aware of. It probably happened long back. But now that I've been really tuning in and seeing like where these paths lead, like the dark side will try to talk you out of things. And even like this last week, like I met some guys like on the internet a while back, and we're going to meet up actually doing some strategic planning in our neighborhoods to literally take it back from the dark side. You wouldn't believe some of the people that I meet. But yeah, like we're serious about this. And the whole day, like I wasn't feeling like sick or I wasn't feeling bad, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a waste of time. Maybe these guys aren't who they say they are. Maybe this is a trap. Then when I actually went to meet them, I had the wrong address. So like I was across the street and like certain things just weren't lining up. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just back out of this meeting now. And then when I actually met the guy, he took me into this basement. And it was like an old brick building. And I'm like, am I in the right place? Am I going to get kidnapped? Should I just run? And then when I actually got to the place where he was leading me, it was like a really nice office, and we had a really good time, and we found out like we're basically doing the same thing. Like I'm doing the same thing in my neighborhood just by myself, but now I have other people that are doing the same thing. And literally the era of darkness is coming to a close as we step up. That's the thing. We got to step up and put it out with the light. Because otherwise it's just going to continue. It's just going to continue. That's the other side of this coin. You know, I say stay optimistic, do your part, do all it. If you do your part, you are going to see the results of it. But if you don't, man, you're going to be stuck in that world. And there are literally two worlds being born out of this at this moment. You can see it with the muzzles. You can see it with people who watch the media, lamestream media, and people who don't, you know. So you just want to be on the right side. Be on the side of light. And don't allow yourself to fall in that egoic, oh, what's the physical world showing me that I can take as validation. You know, you got to be the validation first, and then yeah, the physical world will mirror that back to you, but it doesn't start out that way. You got to have that faith, absolute knowingness that you're doing the inner work, you're getting in tune with source, and that will be the open door that leads to all this change. That's the initial step of being the change you want to see in the world. Then all the plans, all the strategies, and all the people that connect with you, you know, all of that stuff that unfolds out of that is subsequent to you getting in tune with source. That's it. And source is a personality. So have a conversation with source, you know. It's not just some nebulous prana energy. It's literally has an identity. It's awareness. It's awareness. But it transcends our physical understanding of awareness in that it has always been and always will be. That itself is a concept beyond what we can imagine now, but there's much more to this dimensionality of source that we can only begin to understand in this life, but we can take it step by step and move forward, understanding more and more. You know, right now we just see it like through a polished sheet of metal. It's dim, but eventually we'll see face to face, and we'll understand and be known as we are. That was good soup, guys. But yeah, before I go, I'm just gonna say, like, get in tune with source and don't be limited by physical means to get to an end. You know, like even divination, like I used to do a lot of that stuff with pendulums and numerology, especially like on the clocks. Like I'll still see multiples, right now it's 7:43, you know. That number used to have meaning for me. Even like phrenology, when you read the wrinkles on someone's forehead, like I still recognize these patterns to this day, but I don't base my choices on them. So I know that source is guiding me, and you know, even with astrology, like I know what all the trends mean, all the planets and all the signs and all of that. It means something, yes, but when you're looking at that to decide for you, technically that's what you're doing. You know what? That's cutting out your legs from under you. And when you do it that way, you're sowing a physical seed that limits yourself to the physical manifestation of that paradigm, or whatever that astrological sign or those numbers or the wrinkles on your client's forehead represent. You're limiting yourself to that experience. That's the seed you're sowing, and then you're gonna really reap a harvest that's in line with that. So get in tune with source. Don't let the physical world control you or discourage you or manipulate you or any of that. Source is the guide to all things, because source is infinite possibilities, creates all things, and knows the end from the beginning. So when you have that faith in you, you can manifest that same state of being, that same inner reality. So with that being said, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna clean up. That's the most important thing when you cook. And I'm gonna do my dishes, and I'm gonna get to editing this video, at least start editing it right away, so that, you know, maybe this one will be up before I go on vacay. But we'll see. We'll do our best and take it from there, because there's more coming. There's more coming, not just with this show, but literally the world is accelerating into a new era. So I love you guys. Stay optimistic. You know, just tap in with Source and get your talents ignited within you. Then you too can be on the leading edge, actually creating this world that we know we've come here to live in, that we know we've been deserving of all along. So I'll check you in the next episode. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I really do. And I pray for all of you watching, all of you subscribers, every night when I go to sleep. Even if I'm falling asleep, like I can't even sit up, I force myself. And I ask Source to just open our eyes, open our hearts, and really bring us forward into who we're here to be. So just know that, you know, we are on the side of truth. We are on the side of light. We are on the side of life and love. And that is literally what's going to change this world from the inside out. So with that being said, guys, have an amazing day, evening, morning, night, whatever it is, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Joel signing out once again. Agape, salaam, namaste. Hotep.
What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.
Oh, so good. So good. So good.